Hello.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody.
Happy.
Welcome to Naoto's Nerdy Power Hour. How are you doing, Naoto?
Good.
I am pretty good. It's gorgeous in Calgary. It's going to get to 37 next week. So I'm trying to expose myself to as much hot weather as possible so I don't die next week.
Yeah. It's pretty hot.
Yeah. And how are you doing?
Good. I'm getting the second job on Sunday, so
Nice.
excited about that.
That's awesome. That's very exciting. I'm getting mine in a week and a half now. Looking forward to it.
Good. Hopefully, everyone's hearing okay today because we had a little bit of that sound issue.
Yeah, we were messing around with stuff earlier, and the computers don't seem to like us today. So we'll see how it goes. Well, what are we working on today, Naoto?
So today we want to work on the how to set the right bevel. What that means is yeah, I hear myself. It's weird. What that means is that when you have knife the bevel like this is got a really big bevel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this. But this is not actually true bevel. True bevel is this line. Like see that little wiggly line?
Yeah.
That is true bevel line.
Okay.
What the knife makers do is that they have the straight line, yes, to hide the part here, and they sandblast to make it straight.
Right. Okay.
Or they have the card, which I'm in the middle. They put it on the knife here, and they polish the sand or the scraper or the sharpening stones.
So if there's any imperfections, it kind of works those out then.
Yeah. This one here is the sandblasted, so you could actually see a little bit of imperfection.
Right. Okay. So, sorry, real quick now. So it sounds like we are having some audio. I know Fighting Usyk at least mentioned. Yeah. Apparently, we're having some issues with your audio there. Sorry for the delay, folks. We were messing around with it earlier, and sometimes you do everything the same, and it just doesn't work right. You've got your source as the Yeti on that first camera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And your output is default.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe just try closing that second tab and we can just use one camera today and see if that works.
I don't know which one. Second. This gonna close.
Sorry about that, folks. We're yeah, I don't know what's going on, but oh, now it's just me. Hello. But we've been having some kind of weird technical issues that we were trying to sort out before the start of the show, and it got better and it got worse, and then it got better and it got worse, and we thought we had it sorted out. There he is. That's sounding a little better. Can you do a little audio test for us?
Hello?
Yeah, that sounds even worse. Naoto, yeah, do you want to just refresh your page, and hopefully that'll fix it, and I can keep people entertained for a little bit. So, yeah, sorry about that, guys. So we're just doing a little knife restoration today. Naoto's got a customer knife there that the bevel's got some issues with it, so he's got to kind of teach us how to reset. Oh, that's sounding better. Talk for me, Naoto.
So weird.
Okay, you sound better now.
So weird. Now I can't hear anything.
Okay, well, at least we can hear Naoto. Sorry about that, guys. We're
and I'm sure you guys can't hear me.
We've tried many
I
things,
know.
but it does sound much better now. Unfortunately, I don't think Naoto's got it figured out on his end. Thanks for your patience, guys. Sorry this is so hectic.
Nano. Nope. I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
How about just close and come back?
Okay, sounds good. Well, we'll see. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, keep talking.
Okay, yeah. So sorry about that, guys. So today's Naoto is going to restore a knife bevel. We've got one that has some kind of problems with it, so he's going to teach us how to reset it from start to finish, go through the whole process. It's not, it's not overly complicated process, but there are some areas where you can kind of go astray, and so he's going to show us just really good, basic, reliable techniques for that. As always, if anybody has questions that they want to, that they want to ask regarding sharpening, steel, knives, any of that kind of stuff, just pop them in the comments. Like I said, thank you for your patience. Sorry for the technical problems today. Sometimes this is just the way things are on the internet, and it's still a matter of perfecting it.
Hello.
Okay. You sound fantastic. Can you hear me?
Great. Yes.
Okay.
And I don't hear that, either, so it's great. This is all good.
And we're back. So what are we doing today, Naoto?
So resetting the bevel. This is so weird. I kept hearing my voice, and I'm like, that's not right. That shouldn't be how it is. So yeah, as I mentioned, there is a fake bevel that's been put on by a lot of blacksmiths and knife makers, which is fine. It's not going to affect anything. Some knife makers, knife makers try to just make it as regular bevel. Some people like to something like do this. But I wanted to kind of how to reset how they usually do to reset these kind of bevels as well. I was gonna actually use some of those tools right here to get the bevel back on.
Yep.
I started it on one of the actually knives that was sent for resharpening. So this guy here, Sean Buckle, I think he show quite a bit.
Sean's a regular viewer.
Yeah, and this is the Tohiro Ren. This series of knife is someone's trying to reach us.
That's okay.
Yeah,
they can get in touch with somebody else.
Yeah, so what happens is that it may be Chris.
No, he would have texted me if it was him.
Right.
Yeah. So what's the deal with that one?
What happens is that this particular knife is made by this Sakai knife makers, and they try to train a sharpener, and so this one here is sharpened by this sharpener who is still in training. So what the bevels are not the greatest and everything, and also Sean tried to put that on the bell sounder so that it's got a little bit more deeper things. And I'm sure his bell sounder was a super flat bell sounder. So what happens is that in the midpoint there are spots that's not touching, right?
Yeah, I see that.
So it was
kind of like what you see with like a Masakage bevel when you start to thin it out the first time.
Pretty concave, right? It was pretty concave then. Few things, and now the bevel or the shinogi is not straight. How those knife makers do to get the straight, try at least to get the straight bevel. Few things that they do. They try to use something like this, right? But often for the double bevel knife, they can't really get really straight because it's so thin, and there isn't not like a Masashi-san where he already makes the little bit of a high point by forging it. A lot of people just do it like this, right? So it's really hard to get the straight, clean shinogi with just the sharpening stones.
Right.
So how they do is they actually work on both sides. That by means they work on the bevel side.
Yeah.
And they work on this flat side.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So bevel. They work on the bevel first, then they try to sharpen the flat bevel so that the shinogi gets a little bit more straighter.
Hmm.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does. That's really interesting. I never would have imagined that, but that's cool.
Yeah. So that's why the some like a lot of kurouchi knives, the surface is much more rougher. Those guys, they don't have the super straight bevel to it. Like the Hado Sumi, the kurouchi ones.
Yep.
And if you look at the knives that actually has a black finish but a super straight line,
Mm-hmm.
often those are dyed.
Oh, like the surface of the knife is dyed.
Yeah. So you can actually
Oh,
see this part has been ground flat.
Huh. Interesting.
So there are like two different ways.
Yeah.
You could dye it with the some bluing powder or bluing chemical.
Yep.
Right. That's one of the way to bring
A lot of knife makers and gun makers do that.
Yeah. Right. It's it's way to oxidize or create the protective layer.
Yeah.
It doesn't rust, right? You don't want to see that the gun rusting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how. Yeah.
Can you show us what you're doing there?
Yes.
It's a little awkward because we're on the one camera setup today, but
this is actually clear enough, though, isn't it? So this is one side that before.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you see the midpoint. There is a little bit of different color going on.
Yeah.
On the other side, I started at this part by grinding the bevel and also this part as well. So it's a little bit more straighter. It's not as straight as I like to, but the we're still practicing on this particular technique as well. But try to get this bevel as flat as possible. Probably at the end, I will probably gonna use some techniques that those knife makers use. Hide that spot. Try to polish it up.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's So what I'm going to do today, I'm actually going to use this.
Cool.
I know
it's an exciting piece of gear. We don't get to see you bust that out very often.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see for probably a few people, but so it's a little piece of wheel that spins this way.
Yeah, away from you, right?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a water tank. I'm just gonna pour the water. Water is great. It keeps the knife from overheating. Although this is really fast stone that actually gets this knife pretty hot as well.
Right. Well, it's such a thin piece of steel. It heats up a lot more quickly than like an axe would or a knife blank would.
So what I would do on this guy here, since the bevel is actually quite high already, I'm actually going to work on this so-called hira, or the flat part.
Okay, cool. Well, we got lots of our weekly viewers tuning in. It's good to see everyone. Sounds like it's kind of hot where everybody is. Hot in the U.S., hot in Vancouver. Definitely going to be hot in Calgary. We're getting up to like 37 or 38 Celsius next week, which is pretty insane for those of us this far north. I've got a quick announcement for folks that tune in regularly. We are going to be changing up our live schedule a bit in the summer. With the shops opening up again and local restrictions being eased off, we're getting super busy, and our teams are going to be real busy just running the stores. So we're going to be going down to one live show a week. We're going to rotate throughout the weeks of the month. So we'll have Japanese Knife 101 one week. We'll have Sharpening Night in Canada another week. We'll have Naoto's Nerd Hour following week. So unfortunately, we'll be reducing the frequency that we do our shows, but that's going to allow us to up the quality of the shows. We'll be able to be like, I'll be able to be there with Naoto with a higher quality camera, so we can do much better looking and much more interesting sharpening content, and we can just try to keep bringing the caliber up on that kind of stuff. So we will be going down to fewer videos per week, down to just one per week, but we'll be putting a lot more work into them and really trying to cover topics that people want to see. So We'll definitely, if you guys have suggestions of what you guys want to see in the next few months or for the rest of the year, let us know. As always, pop it in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, check out the link in the description and please join, hang out, talk with everybody. There's lots of cool discussions that happen there. And if you have suggestions for videos, we'd love to hear them there. Kyle Bolden has a good question. We got a few questions, but Kyle Bolden wants to know, did Naoto get a haircut?
Yes, I did. Finally, the hair salons are allowed to reopen, right? So
yeah. How long's it been since your last professional haircut?
6 months.
Yeah. Fighting Music was asking in reference to the announcement I just made, will there be a set day and time for the shows to rotate through, or will we have to keep track? No, you will not have to keep track. Everything is going to be Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. The exception to that is Sharp Knives Rock, which is the second Monday of the month, and that's at 3 p.m. As always, we will post a live schedule to the YouTube community page. We'll post it in the Discord. And we'll give you plenty of warning when we do have live videos coming up. So hopefully that'll help keep things, help keep you in the loop as to what's going on. Good question. We got, well, how's that wheel working there now, before we get to questions?
So what I did is to work the surface, the face of this first. So what happens is that because this nature of this wheel, it's a wheel like this, right? Yep. So by touching, I was actually working on the angle, but by doing this, you're making this part a little bit more concave. And I was just pushing a little bit more like flat. Okay. So what ultimately doing is I'm trying to make a little bit of concavity right here part, a little bit, and taller, higher spots right here. It's not clean yet. Then I'm going to put it on the vertical like this. Horizontal, diagonal like this. Then the start to sharpen the bevel. Make sense? Kind of?
Makes sense. Yeah, well, because if you just laid it flat, you get that concave bevel back. So that makes sense. That was going to be my question, but I'm glad you got to it. So we do have a few questions here. Once we got those tech issues sorted out, Mike Poor had a question on Facebook. Just said, I've got a chipped Takayuki Shibata tank. Oh, that sucks, dude. That's brutal. Should I grind the edge flat, then bring down the bevels, or bring the bevels until the chips are gone?
Grind the bevel until the chip's gone, then you start the sharpen the bevel. Yeah,
that's going to help maintain the shape of the bevel, the profile of the knife. Because if you just try to grind it flat, there's a good chance you'll end up messing up the profile, and then you'll have a bad time. I mean, maybe you got lots of skills, but well, often what we'll do at Knifewear stores when we have a customer whose knife we're repairing a chip on, rather than just sharpening the bevel to remove the chip, we'll bring it up at a really aggressive angle at like 30-40 degrees, Mike, and we'll grind the chip away and maintain the profile, but it grinds faster, and then you drop the knife back down and thin out the bevels. And so it's kind of, you're not doing it at 90 degrees and flattening out the edge, but you are doing it at a more aggressive angle. It works more quickly, and that seems to work really well. If you're doing it by hand without a machine, you're gonna have some time to spend on it, but it'll be worth the effort. Naoto, I got a question for you from Kyle Bolden on YouTube. It says, does the Kensho diamond plate fit on the back of my Atoma?
Yeah, it's the same size.
Right, because he's looking to do a combo, so one on one side, one on the other. So
yeah, it's the same size.
Perfect. There you go, Kyle. You can make your combo plate.
So I try to use both machines at the same time because this does not give me any super flatness to it, right?
Right.
Because this one, you always have to move your wrist like a little bit to get the nice convexity.
Like you're riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's hard, and this is much smaller wheel than a lot of knife makers use, so it actually gets much more deeper concavity much faster. So I frequently comes back in a stone, then try to get the finish.
Yeah, that makes it's kind of a balancing act. The big wheel removes steel really quickly, but the other one keeps things flat. And Mike Poor apparently is a knife maker, so has a sanding belt and stones, so should have no problem repairing that chip. Mike, I think I've actually talked to you on our Instagram before. Your profile image looks awfully familiar. Blank had a comment. I don't know if you know enough about this, Naoto, but I heard that bluing that they use on guns and knives sometimes isn't food safe. Do you know if that's true? I wonder.
There are probably not ones that's not food safe. There are ones for hocho or the kitchen knives.
Right.
So it very similar reaction probably.
Yep.
But the
maybe a different compound than the gun bluing that a lot of Americans use. Yeah.
Because I've seen the Japanese knife crafts they sell those guys, right? They don't say bluing, but it's bring it approach back.
Well, Mike, who's a knife maker, Red Dragon Forge, that is the person I've talked to before. Mike said that cold bluing is not food safe, but something called parkerizing, which I've never heard of but sounds interesting, is food safe once it's done. So yeah, different treatments, right? Well, if you're just tuning in, today on Naoto's Nerdy Power Hour, we are, Naoto is, I'm not doing anything. Naoto's refurbishing a knife. So he's got a knife that we need to reset the bevel on. So he's going to kind of walk you through all those processes. He's starting on the big wheel and the medium wheel right now, just to get things kind of set up, get the heavy lifting done before you can start doing work by hand. If you have questions, as always, pop your questions in the chat. We love to get to them, and just general discussion too. If you have, knowledge you'd like to share with other people. In the meantime, if you haven't joined our Discord and checked out some of the conversations that we have there about knives and knife making, knife sharpening, food, cooking, YouTube videos, all sorts of stuff, we'd love to see you there. Thanks everyone that has been tuned in and part of the discussion on Discord, because it's lots of fun. While Naoto's working away there, or do you have some progress to show us? I'd love to see what's going on here.
A little bit. Again, the flat part was going a little bit more deeper. Now I'm grinding this line here.
Yeah.
Trying to get the little bit more even.
Yeah.
But in order to, for those of you who try to reset the bevels, in order to get the nice straight bevel, you want to have the proper surface, which is, stone's flat, knife is straight. That's really important as well. Knife should be straight so that it touches where I aim for, right?
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise it's just fighting with you, right? It's not it's not going to do exactly what you want it to.
There's going to be a lot of spots that's, it's lower than the other. Like, there's going to be a spot that's not going to touch on the stone.
Right. But that's of course. I was at the shop today. I had a customer bring in his knife for sharpening, and it was quite bent. And we talked about how to smash garlic and how to not smash garlic, and that will hopefully fix the problem for him. While Naoto's working away, I do have one other announcement. Next month is something we call Small Makers Month. It's kind of from the middle of July to the middle of August. And if you are a knife nerd like us, it's a really interesting time because we get to highlight some of the smaller makers that we don't normally get to carry full time. People that make amazing knives, but don't make enough of them for us to stock all of our stores year round. And so we're going to be doing videos about them. We're going to be doing some interviews that Naoto's conducting. We're going to have blogs and discussions about them on Shark Knives Rock. We're going to have, obviously, lots of their knives for sale over the course of July and August. And so it's kind of just a fun time to learn about some lesser-known folks that you probably never heard of in the world of Japanese knife making. So that's July 12th to August 8th. And it's a good time. It's a tradition we started last year. And kind of like the garage sale, it's a chance to highlight some of the folks that we really love but don't carry full time. Blank had a good thought about what you're doing now. I mean, it might be a necessary evil, but are the engraving on the knife, is that going to get worn off in this process?
Tiny bit.
Tiny bit?
I try not to remove that much.
Yeah.
Tiny bit.
Because they do go, I mean, relatively speaking, they go pretty deep. They don't look super deep, but it's, compared to the whole thickness of the knife, it's a decent amount of steel.
There's still a little bit left.
Yeah.
So I start to become a little bit more straighter. To be a little bit more straighter on this side. I don't know if I can make it like that straight.
Sure.
From the equipment we have, but it was better than how it was done.
So this is probably the kind of thing where, as the knife sharpening, you're going to have a discussion with the customer beforehand and kind of like this is what I'm going to have to do. This is how.
I've spoken to Sean about it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So this knife arrived. I contacted him, say, hey, it looks like it's got a deep, scratch mark on the Hira and stuff. So
yeah,
I've spoken to him, say, this is probably what I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this side is start to become much nicer.
Yep.
And I'm gonna work on this side. The little bit of careful thing that you have to be a little bit more careful is that the one, again, because it's been done on the wheel like this, just make sure that you get a nice flatter bevel using the flat stone.
Mm-hmm.
I had an opportunity to speak to a Maruyama-san. I'm just going to stop this one from the Hado Sakai the other day, whom I'm actually going to interview with soon.
Yeah, that's right.
One-on-one interview. He's got a very interesting career path. So I want to actually ask him how he ended up becoming a knife sharpener.
That's awesome.
And how he what he did and how what he had to do to become where he is right now, right? So right. I'm going to have the little discussion and a little interview with him, all in Japanese. I'll edit out and post them on the YouTube once it's all done. Nice. One thing though, I had a opportunity to chat with him before, because before we get into the all the recording and stuff, we wanted to see who he is, I guess, right? So I got a chance to talk to him. He was saying it's always hard from because all the equipment that he uses is those wheels that is spinning this way vertically. There's always tiny low spots. There will be. That's fortunate and unfortunate thing. Even if you start to spend $2-3 grand on a knife, there will be some low spots. There will be. But all the equipment that they use is those spinning tools. So even mirror polishing, there's buffing wheel.
No kidding.
But the buffs with the chromium oxide or whatnot, right? So that would actually get polished all the low spots on the bevel. Low spots on the Hira is fine. Low spots on the bevel is not really greatest.
Yeah,
but
because that affects the performance and the resharpening.
Ability is probably the biggest thing, right?
Right.
So what he's told me is that he's tried really hard to close the gap between the quality of the knives that he creates with the set of wheels.
Yeah.
To the quality of knives that's been hand finished with the all the water stones.
Yeah. Right.
Quite a bit difficult process because one is you're producing a whole bunch of knives, and you have to create and produce fair amount of knives to be able to sustainable, right? Economically sustainable for yourself and for your company.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? Where flat sharpening on the flat stone and finishing it up, it's expensive. If you look at all the hand finished knives by Hinora-san, those were expensive. Not only just the forging technique, but the sharpening process is done all by hand. That's more.
So
like-
sorry, does he set like his whole bevel by hand?
No. The
Okay.
Hinora?
Yeah.
Hinora finishes everything by hand, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
there's like some little spots. By working on the stones, it touches on the flat stone. That
Wow.
means, yeah. So that's what he told me, that it's a struggle. He or the hard part of making knives, and it's a tradition as well.
Is that
but
maybe why we only get like a handful of his knives every year?
Yeah, the great thing about him is that he's, to tell the truth, he, compared to a lot of sharpeners in that region, he is very inexperienced in terms of the duration that he's been doing. Right? He has been doing. He's been a sharpener only probably 5-6 years.
Wow, really?
Yeah. He's good though. He's really good.
Maruyama-san, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But compared to like other sharpeners, it's very, very short.
Yeah, it's not decades, for example.
No. Great thing about him though, he's open to a lot of new ideas.
He's not set in his ways, like he's not too rigid and inflexible.
No.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him about the and I'm pretty open to a lot of, and we are very privileged to be able to see the way in which other regions are doing the sharpenings.
Yeah.
And I talked about them, that's what they were using, like that kind of stuff that they were using.
Yeah.
And I told them,
we are in a really privileged position to be able to see all those different techniques coming in all at it's crazy.
Because like a lot of knife makers are not, they don't know anything. And sometimes they don't even know what's going on in the next door.
Right. Yeah.
How they do things.
And they don't all think like you or Masashi-san, where they're always trying to like reinvent and like, they don't always have that approach. So I can imagine they probably do what they do very well, but they get very like focused in one way of doing things.
Exactly. Right. So I was kind of chatting with them saying, hey, that's like, the way that they were like the other regions were doing, they were using something like that. How about like you guys like buy those and try implement those?
Yeah.
It's awesome. Maybe company secret, but though, say like I get an idea from Tadahusa, and Tadahusa has their open factory. Their factories are pretty open. They have open factory days. So, I'm sure knife makers can just sneak in and holy shit, that's what they were using.
There's got to be like they need like a social media platform for blacksmiths where they can all share ideas and learn together.
It's a good idea, and that leads to the little idea sharing. The Manaka-san, Miyazaki-san, and Yoshizawa-san from Nigara Hamono will be joining me on the. I'm trying to make it the quiz show style of me asking questions. They write the answers with the flipboard and doom with the music or something. But and they will talk about what they mean by, say, for example, who's your blacksmith? Who's your favorite blacksmith? Who's your favorite blacksmith? And they'll be like, well, write down.
Yeah. Get them to justify their answer kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool.
So
all right. So where are we at on this knife?
So I'm just going back to there we go.
Can you show us how the progress is real quick?
So the bevel is like set actually a lot more straighter.
Yeah.
Not sure if we can get any straighter than this one. I'll try. I'm gonna try that back now though. It's still a little bit wonky. So I'm gonna try the
Very cool. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying us just nerding out. I mean, I know this is the point of the show, but it's great getting to listen to Naoto talk about some of these, especially the younger blacksmiths in Japan. I think we all, not just us at Knifewear, but everybody is at a very fortunate point in time where a lot of the older blacksmiths we got a chance to see their kind of final years in blacksmithing, but now a lot of younger people are taking over. We even have like some women in the blacksmithing world now in Japan, which is awesome. And so we're seeing like this shift in change mentality, hopefully more communication, and we're all getting to observe a pretty exciting time in the world of Japanese knife making, and I think that's pretty lucky on our part. Got a couple of more questions here. Some of these are going to have to wait until you are back in front of the camera there, Naoto. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments.
Just shout out, and I'll come back.
Yeah, shout them out. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying listening to this. Other than that, any other news? Like I said, we've got Small Makers Month coming up next month in July, which is, my God, it's July already. We've got a new blog up on the website. If anybody watching is a little newer to Japanese knives, I know a lot of you guys really know your stuff well already, but if you're newer to the world of Japanese knives, our new blog is all about carbon steel, why you might want to own carbon steel, and how you would take care of high carbon steel, because it's very different. And it's just a totally different experience. So check that out if that's a thing you're into. Similarly, we've got a new video on our YouTube channel. And it's by Mike, and it's why is my Japanese kitchen knife rusting? Again, if you're not familiar with high carbon steels and steel types in general, it's something that the average layperson doesn't know a ton about. So Mike's there to kind of teach you what carbon steel is, why you might want it, why you might not want it, and how you're going to go about taking care of it. In the meantime, let us know in the comments what you're planning to get up to this weekend. I know I'm going to do some charcoal grilling. We got these super cool new Una grills at Knifewear this week, so I'm going to be grilling some chicken skewers tomorrow with a local chef, doing a little bit of a photo shoot for it. So I'd love to know what everybody's planning to cook and eat and drink this weekend. It sounds like it's going to be beautiful everywhere, except Ontario, where it's raining apparently.
Just stay hydrated, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Stay hydrated, people. As far as, just while Naoto's finishing up there, as far as the products that are going to come in, Knifewear Vancouver's calling me. As far as the products that are going to come in during Small Makers Month, I know we have some new stuff from Miyazaki-san, which will be really cool. We're hopefully going to get some stuff from Nigara. We've had the Nigara Kurochi.
Nigara AS coming. I know it's
awesome.
coming. And Miyazaki-san is something that I have to double check on. Manaka-san, we'll have some Shirogami, the white carbon steel knives in.
Yep.
The ATS 34 knives may not make it.
Yep.
I just heard the little sad story.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's too bad. It'd be nice to get some more stuff from Manaka-san, though, because this stuff is super rad, and we haven't had a ton of it.
I know, it's been a while since we had them.
This is the reason for Small Makers Month, is because it allows us a chance to, bring in knives and show off knives for some of these blacksmiths that make amazing stuff. They just don't make enough of it. So I'm very excited for that. Another piece of news that I think everybody listening will want to know is that in about 2 weeks' time or so, after the 4th episode of Sharp Knives Rock, which airs on July 12th at 3 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to be giving away a knife. We're going to give away a knife completely for free. Basically, no strings attached. The only stipulation is that you're going to have to tune in to Japanese Knife 101, Sharp Knives Rock on July 12th at 3 p.m. or watch it in the days afterwards. And you're going to have to answer a couple skill testing questions based on the content in the episode, based on the interviews that Naoto's doing. And so we're going to be giving away this Damascus R2 knife from Nigara, and it's pretty beautiful. I'm trying to find a picture of it that I have here because you guys really have to see it. But yeah, we're going to be giving this knife away completely for free. It's worth about $550. How's that going, Naoto?
A little bit nice and straight.
Oh yeah, that's looking better.
This part though, it's unpolished. I'll be doing something else, but it's starting to actually become a little bit more straighter.
Yep.
So hopefully, I'll get that finished pretty soon. The other side, if you look, the other side is much more straighter than the this side. Although it's
No
actually
kidding.
not too bad.
So if you're just tuning in, Naoto's just restoring or resetting a knife bevel. So he's got a customer knife that had some kind of wonky stuff going on. So he's just using the big equipment right now to really straighten out those the sides of the knife and the bevel of the knife, and then he'll be coming back and working on the stones. And we'll get a little deeper into the questions then. So as far as the knife we're giving away in July, it is this guy. Like I said, it's the Nigara R2 Damascus Santoku. It's a really, really stunning knife. It's worth about $550 retail. It's just absolutely stunning. So I'm really excited. We don't usually do like giveaways. We don't really do Instagram giveaways or any of that kind of stuff. It's just not really our jam. But we are going to give that away to celebrate Small Makers Month. So tune in to Sharp Knives Rock, episode 4, and yeah, you might be able to win that knife. It's going to be easy. All you have to do is watch the episode, answer a few questions about it, email your answers in, and you'll automatically be entered in the draw. So anybody watching right now could win that knife. So a couple of comments here. That's what everybody's going to be doing this weekend or cooking. Blank's going to be working mostly, and hopefully it's not too hot outside. It is Texas, so who knows? Fighting Usic's going to smoke a chicken and probably a small pork roast on Sunday. So you have meat to use without having to cook throughout the week. That's a really good idea. I'm doing some Montreal smoked meat on Sunday. Same sort of deal. Like just have some nice cold cuts to eat during the week. Let me know what you're doing with that chicken, Usic, because I've been doing smoked chicken and I'm happy enough with the results, but it could definitely be better. So I'm curious. How's that going there, Naoto?
Pretty good. The again, bevel is starting to become like a bevel. There is a one spot right here that is cold, so I'm gonna actually keep working. One of the key to get the bevel nice and straight is to you don't move as much when you're working on the wheel.
Yeah,
you just do a very steady hand. Something that you could do at home. If you want to reset the bevel, something that you could do is to have chew your stone into like a little bit more round shape so that it hits at the certain spot that you want. Right? That's how the sword makers do sharpen, sword sharpeners do sharpen their knives, like swords with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Grant was just wondering the date that I mentioned. So that's July 12th at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Tune into Sharp Knives Rock. If you can't catch the episode live, it's okay. We'll give you a couple of days to enter the contest. So just tune into the episode after it airs if you don't see it live. And you'll basically just have to answer a few simple questions about what happens in the episode. And then you'll be able to enter. And don't worry, Chris Lord's not going to put more axes through a wall. So we've got lots of questions here.
Yes.
But they're all ones that I think I need you to come and hang out for.
Sure.
We did have a quick one from Kyle Bolden said, oh, come on.
I can start sharpening the bevel, so yeah.
Is that 210 Kiritsuke I saw on Instagram available? It always says sold out. Is that the one you were showing off today, the Hado?
Yeah. We haven't. We did have them. We haven't really done much to it, so we just got excited.
Yeah.
Right?
It's part of our Small Makers Month, so kind of around the 12th, that knife will go up, right?
Yeah. We'll decide on Nakagawa-san's knife, the Kiritsuke.
Yep.
The other one, just keep an eye out. That's the knife that we got it from the Satoshi Nakagawa-san. He's great blacksmith in Sakai region. He is his predecessor of Kenichi Shiraki. He retired, but he was like one of the known as one of the best blacksmiths in the Sakai region.
Cool.
So we're fortunate enough to have his knife in. So it's a Ginsan Kiritsuke.
Cool.
And, we got them in. I wanted to basically, I got excited. So I wanted to put on the Instagram, telling the world that, hey, we got the Kagawa-san's knife. And he messaged us saying, thank you. And I'm like, I replied in Japanese. No, thank you.
I had no idea what you're saying, but I saw that message.
Yeah.
Can you show us what you're doing on the stones there?
Yes. I can change camera.
Yeah, sure. If you don't mind. I'll make it bigger too so folks can see what you're doing. So while you're explain a little bit before we get into questions. Explain a little bit about what you're doing on that.
So what I'm doing here is I try to get the deeper scratch off from the made with 220 grit stone. Also, this is good opportunity to make this bevel a little bit more straighter. I mean, I look at a bevel like right this here, and when I see that the little bump right here, I will focus on that spot and work a little bit more and see if I get a little bit more straighter bevel.
Okay, cool. And that's the knife for 220 you said, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so we had a good question a little while ago from Philip. Says, can you share some history of how and when shirogami and aogami got developed? Also says hello.
Hello, Philip. It's been a very long time. So shirogami and aogamis are both made by this steel factory or the company Hitachi Steel, and they are developed at this particular factory in Yasuki. Some people call it Yasugi. It's either sound or non-sound words, Yasuki or Yasugi. That particular Yasugi in the Shimane prefecture is actually a really famous place for a sword steel making. It's called Tamahagane.
Oh, okay.
Right? So that's why Yasuki Hagane, some people call the Hitachi Steel called Yasuki Hagane. That's how they got the name. So the idea of the particular, say, white carbon steel was to recreate a steel that is very steel similar to Tamahagane. Tamahagane is this type of high carbon steel, sword making steel that has been produced in that area and actually throughout Japan for knife making. They are generally made out of the steel sand and the bunch of charcoals. And the Yasuki is the place that they have kind of made more like a mass production, because you could make the very small scale so-called tatara or this kirin to create tamahagane, but they've done in a mass scale. So what they did is that they collect about 5, 6, 7 tons, metric tons of steel sand, and they use the 4 or 5 tons of charcoals, and they burn them basically like 3 days, 3 nights. They built kind of kirin, and they keep adding the charcoals into it to add the carbon into the steel.
Yeah.
And they have to burn it all day for 3 days and 3 nights straight.
No kidding.
Then they break this kirin, and there's a big steel called kera, and they break it down, and they find called tamahagane. Tamahagane. So not all of that steel brick is called tamahagane. Tamahagane is the only ones that's suitable for knife making or sword making.
Right.
Anyways, so the characteristics of the tamahagane is it's very pure. Basically it's steel and carbon. Steel and about 1%, 1.2, 3% with carbon. So the Hitachi steel try to recreate that.
Okay, cool.
That's why the Shirogami has the about 1.1% carbon, and they try to reduce as much impurities like sulfur and stuff like that out. Yeah.
So the goal is to create a more traditional steel without somebody having to lose 2 nights of sleep.
Yeah. And aogami is derived from there, right? The adding other elements to it, tiny bit of chromium and stuff for one, quenchability or the hardenability. The white carbon steel, because it's so pure, it's very finicky. In order for blacksmiths to get the best results out of the steel, the temperature window was really narrow, or it has to be quenched in certain speed and everything. It was very finicky. It was very it was hard for some blacksmiths. So they add, say, chromium to the steel to make it so that it can be quenched in oil, yet still gets about the same hardness.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
Basically, what happens is that when oil quenching, what is about oil quenching is that when you quench an oil, the steel cools slower.
Yeah.
Right. So even if the steel cools slower, it gets still the same hardness. That's what it is.
Okay, cool.
Like quenchability or something.
Right.
And the results, it adds another layer of the toughness and a little bit of carbide. And
does cooling slower help with that, like, conversion of carbides more thoroughly?
No, really. Well, yes. They can. There could be more so-called like free floating carbons, kicking around, I guess.
Yep. Okay, cool.
But basically, the element itself, the chromium element itself, is kind of becomes a carbide with the carbon, right?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we've got another steel-related question. This one's interesting. It's gonna require a bit of thinking, I think. What are the differences between Ginsan and R2/SG2?
It's quite a bit different. The Ginsan is this stainless steel made by a Hitachi, the same knife. So Hitachi, the special steel, Hitachi steel at the Yasuki factory.
Yeah.
Idea behind the Ginsan is similar to white carbon steel. They wanted to create a stainless steel that cuts like carbon. Cuts like the carbon steel. Right, so it's got the about 1% of carbon in it. What they do is that but this is more traditional way of making steel. They pour steel out of elements and they melt in a big pot and they pour into the bar. Right.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
Where R2 or SG2 are quite a bit different. It's so-called the high-speed powder stainless steel.
Yeah.
Right. So the high-speed powder stainless steel. So high speed. You know what the high speed means?
I was always told, and this could be totally untrue, I was always told that they like press it together at a high speed, but I don't know if that's bull or if that's true or not.
No, the high speed means it can be used in high speed without losing its hardness.
Oh, okay.
That's why it is used for drill bits. So when the things spins fast, it creates friction, thus creates heat. Right?
Yep.
And heat is bad for a lot of steels because heat can heating up the steel will lose its temper from the steel. But but the high-speed steels are prone. It won't lose its hardness.
Huh.
So it's actually high-speed powder steels or high-speed steels are the ones that you could sharpen with the super aggressive bell sander without losing its.
Oh, okay. Cool. Hopefully you don't have to, but if you do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the type of steel so that's why it's called high speed. It was designed for those drill bits, designed for cutting something, like dentist drills and stuff like that.
Right.
Fast, and it could heat up a little bit, kind of stuff. But they found it has like good wear resistance and hardness, so they decided to make a knife out of it. SG2 is formulated by the Takefu Special Steel, and Takefu Special Steel, for those of you who don't know, is a knife steel making company. Takefu doesn't make much other, like Hitachi Steel is a huge company. Hitachi used to be a part of so-called Zaibatsu, which is like part of, like in the States, it's very similar to Rockefeller. Rockefeller.
Like it's a really big, famous family, eh?
This company, right? Like owned from the steel company to like the financial institutions and stuff like that, right?
Oh.
But so Hitachi is like huge. They make a lot of other steels for building materials and stuff like that too. They have other factory for that, right? Where Takefu Special Steel is a lot more for a knife steel, right? Because Takefu is famous for its knife making or the blade making. So
right. Yeah, that's kind of what they specialize in, right?
Yeah. So the SG, they found, R2 or SG2 is great steel for kitchen knife making. So yeah, but powder steel is made with, it's much hotter, so it keeps the edge longer. I'm sure this kind of answer is something that my viewers are looking for. I hope it's not like R2 will keep the edge longer. It's not like that, I guess.
I don't think they're looking for the simple answers.
The big difference between Ginsan and R2 SG2 is that the Ginsan, when it's forged, it becomes big. Well, it becomes better. When it's properly forged,
right,
the grain gets finer and it's better. It becomes better knife. But the R2 SG2, it's more difficult to make a difference by forging or the roll forged.
Yeah, which is fairly common these days, right?
If you find hand forged Ginsan, go for it. If you find just regular rolled out Ginsan, go for R2.
Right, if that's kind of what your choice is down to.
Yeah.
Philip had a follow-up to the questions about Aogami and Shirogami. Just said I couldn't find any information on when they started making those steels. Do you happen to know the dates, or I imagine you don't know the exact date, but the year maybe?
I don't know the exact date. It's been a while though. They had been working or using that steel for fairly long time.
Like since the 80s maybe, or
the 60s or 70s.
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah. It's been a while. I know the fact that even some of the older knife makers, like in the 60s and 70s, I know that they were using some Shirogami and Aogami. So
very cool.
Shirogami for sure. It wasn't really popular until very recent though. The very popular steel, and say for example in Sakai area, were actually called Kigami. Kigami is the yellow carbon steel.
Oh yeah, we see that a lot in some of our hatchets and like our Higo knives and stuff, right?
Yeah. Because the back then there was no stainless steel. When they forged them, it's people chip them and stuff. So often, especially for those making the knives, kitchen knives for home use, they prefer the Kigami because it's less likely to chip.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Easier to sharpen.
Yeah. But now they have all these high-tech steels that are more chip resistant and all this kind of stuff, and it doesn't matter.
Interestingly enough, the Kigami was still a popular steel at this factory called at the Hakata.
Yeah.
he is the sort of mentor for Miyazaki-san, who we're going to interview pretty soon. But Miyazaki-san kind of took away from that. Then he started to use the more high-tech steel, like blue carbon steel, white carbon steel, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But his mentor only uses Kigami.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Is he just a real traditionalist, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, sorry.
How's that knife going? Let's. Do you have any progress for us yet, or?
I think so. It's the looks a little bit nicer, cleaner bevel.
Yeah, much more consistent.
Yeah. A little bit on here. It's not the greatest. There's still small scratches, so I'll keep going. This is one of the experiment that I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So.
And what is the experiment that you're doing?
Experiment is to recreate the bevel by not only sharpening this bevel here, but grinding this flat surface.
Right.
Well,
because that's something you've heard about, but you haven't really done much of that, right?
I've done it on my Deba.
Right.
This is pretty successful.
Nice. That looks good.
Great. Yeah. But and also the back grind as well. I'm actually working on the back too, making a cave.
Yep.
This one is actually pretty good. I'm actually going to finish it up with the. I'm gonna actually finish it up some at a time.
Yep.
But it's got little concavity right here. Nice convexity on the bevel. For those of you who watched the Masashi-san's interview, which we were about to finish the translation and the editing.
Yep.
So hopefully in about a couple weeks.
Yeah, I just shot a little B-roll for that at the shop today.
Yeah.
Yeah, should turn out pretty well. Cool. That's cool. We're in the lab with you today then.
Yeah,
doing science experiments on knives.
Yes. Sometimes switching up the stones are good as well. Because sometimes the surface of the stone gets a little bit more too smooth.
So the abrasive gets kind of worn down and it stops working as well?
Sometimes, yeah. It feels like it's slipping.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Huh. So you just go to a fresh stone and keep going, eh?
Yeah.
And is that, I'm gonna guess that's the Shapton 220?
Yeah, the Shapton 220. Glass 220.
Very cool. All right, well, carry on. Lorenzo says, hey guys, just popped in. Well, thanks for popping in, Lorenzo. Curious about how bevels for say a Tsujihiki would differ from that of a Gyuto or Santoku in terms of resetting it more or less prominent or anything like that. I think this is something that got touched on in that Masashi interview we were talking about. But
yeah, I gotta be a little bit more careful, I think, to resetting the Tsujihiki. It is thin. It's long. Idea is the same. Pretty much, I usually have the lower. I sharpen at the tip much lower, and it gets a little bit more fatter at the heel. That's a regular kind of things. Resetting the bevel on the Tsujihiki. It is. It's just a really longer version, but
it's work for sure.
Yeah.
So Tsujihikis are just a more challenging knife to sharpen in general, right?
You have to keep it straight too, right? As he was saying, keeping it straight is hard for the longer knives.
Well, sometimes you'll see like on Fujiwara knives, for example, you'll see like a Gyuto that's like $400 or $500, and then suddenly the Tsujihiki's $1,000.
Yeah,
and it's not because he's using like literally twice as much steel. I mean, it might be, but it's also just a hell of a lot more work to make the knife, and it's way more fussy and finicky. And a lot of, from what I hear, Naoto can confirm, a lot of blacksmiths don't love making long knives like that.
No, because you have to kind of work on the one direction. How
do you mean?
Hammer only pounds back and forth.
Yeah.
And when you pound them, it's like it expands on all the way, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So making it like a little bit more deeper blade is easier because it bang, 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 bang.
Oh yeah, I see.
Making it only one directional
Well,
is hard.
yeah, yeah, no kidding. So any advice for some? Oh, that looks good.
Starting to get nicer.
Yeah.
Advice to reset the bevel differently is when just work, like keep looking and find where you are sharpening, see how the bevel goes, try to work on the low spots. Like that's really the like any knife sharpening, right? Check free often as possible. One, so you know where you're sharpening.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, think what you're going to cut. Something like this Santoku, I'm sharpening the way that the Masashi-san told me. Santoku is, as a multi-purpose knife, it should do a multi-purpose job. So I'm going to make a heel little bit more blunter, or the sharpens a little bit more at the bigger angle, and the tip is lower or sharper angle.
Yeah.
So that when you press it, that the that gets more force, is the heel. You push it down, and so this is the part that requires a lot more stronger edge to it.
Yeah, because you're doing the heavy impact on the cutting board and cutting tougher stuff.
This is the part that touches cutting board the hardest. So I'm going to sharpen this part a lot bigger angle.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more water, so I'll be back.
Yeah, go for it, man. Well, keep the questions coming, folks. It looks like you all are having some good conversation about steels and other stuff in the comments, so I'm glad to see that. If you are watching right now and you haven't joined our Discord yet, we can have these kinds of conversations every day, all day long. It's a good time. It's a good group of folks. We talk about knives, sharpening, cooking, music, all sorts of nonsense. Another note, we are changing up our live video schedule. We are going down to one video a week because our shops are a lot more busy these days, especially with local restrictions being lifted. So we're going to focus on doing higher quality videos once a week. And so we'll have Naoto's Nerd Hour will happen about once a month. We'll have a more basic sharpening class once a month. We'll have Japanese Knife 101, and then, of course, Sharpen Knife Rock. If anybody has suggestions of what they'd like to see, join the Discord and leave a comment for me or shoot me a message because we're always down to take suggestions, and we'd love to create content that you want to see. Naoto, I know we've had some requests for a Natural Stone episode, and Blank's been waiting a few months, so we're gonna have to do a Natural Stone episode pretty soon.
Yes.
We got some good advice for smoking chicken. So thank you, Usyk and Blank for the recommendations. I'm excited to try out some new ideas. Do you guys have any thoughts on the vinegar spray? I know some people like to spray their barbecue with cider vinegar as they're smoking, and I've never. I've done it a little bit. I've heard the idea, the science behind it, but I've never done it a lot. So I'm wondering if that's actually legit or if it's just one of those weird superstitious things people do. Grant Brooke has a good question from Facebook. Says, "Hi folks, as attractive as a wavy lamination line can be, does it effectively represent the laminating steel is pushed to different depths against the core steel? Is there ever a risk that it is punching through the center of the core steel?" And then I can't see the rest of the comment here. And this would then be exposed at the cutting edge when sharpening / thinning. How thick is core steel typically? It's a good question.
So the wavy lamination lines can be that effectively represents the laminating steel. Different depth. Also, like goes the ones. Okay, the So I would imagine I can change the camera really quick.
Let's see your beautiful new haircut, Naoto.
Yes, thank you.
It's a great haircut.
Thank you. I would imagine that what he means is that the steel like this and it has a center, and when the core steel kind of bends over. Sometimes it does. Core steel is actually not that much there. Surprisingly, when I looked at the where he starts, it's not that thick piece of metal, so it can't actually be a on the one side or the other, and that's up to sharpeners to adjust them often.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get like punched through like crazy because generally the blacksmiths are skilled enough that they're not going to like don't totally fuck up a piece of steel.
Yeah.
And those little tiny waves you get, I mean, we're talking about a difference in depth of like fractions of a millimeter. So I don't think it's something you'd ever have to worry about. I imagine if it was something that ever affected the performance of the knife, it would probably, we'd consider it a defect and we fix or replace the knife for you. But yeah, I think like if I made a knife on a spring hammer, that might happen, but probably not the guys that we work with. They're pretty good at what they do. How, if you could estimate how thick, just that second question Grant has, how thick would you say the core steel is? Is it half a millimeter or?
Depends on how, say for example, Moritaka-san, they all forge weld the steel, right?
Yeah.
So core steel that they start out with about the 5 millimeters thick.
Yeah.
Then they forge weld and they, smash them together.
Yeah.
That's how they start. For example, Takefu, they start from about 5 to 7 millimeter thick steel, and they have about probably 2 millimeter steel in the core. Then they bangs it out into very fine, knife. Yeah. So that's kind of idea. And also, again, not many knife makers do forge welding in house, right?
Right.
So especially for the double bevel knives.
Yeah.
What they can do is that they can order a specific thickness.
Okay. And a lot of them do. They have kind of their own preferences, right?
Yeah, they say, "Oh, can you make it, the whole thing as this thickness and core steel at this thickness and stuff like that." Yeah, I know. Sometimes the answers are not as romantic as like a lot of people like to hear, but
yeah. No, it makes sense. That's like yesterday we were shooting a video with our new video guy Tim, and he was looking at these beautiful boxes that the knives come in, and he's like, "Oh, what does this one say?" And Naoto's like, it says kitchen knife."
I know.
That's what also says kitchen knife.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, looks like you're still working away on that, guys. So I'm going to bring up a few more questions and comments.
Yeah, today my real focus is really to finish one side, and I think I can do that. The other side, I'm gonna keep working.
This is a much slower process than a lot of the stuff you teach in this class, right? Well, Rob Carson has dialed in the technique for smoking a duck on the Weber, which is super exciting. I haven't mastered the Weber at all. I've been using my Traeger, which is like, smoking for dummies. So well done on that. Blank likes to oil the skin on a bird as opposed to vinegar, because vinegar apparently makes it too dark. I'm okay with dark skin, but let's say you wanted to keep it a little less crispy. And I imagine the oil would help with crispiness, so I might have to try that out. Kyle really wants a ATS 34 knife.
You have to wait a little bit. I heard the sad news that the forge welding process that he was doing, he had a little bit of problems and it was delaminating.
Oh no!
It won't make it for the small makers month.
Yeah,
but we'll get them.
We will get them.
We'll get them.
We love his knives way too much to not get them.
Yeah, it was like, I was informed. It's like, Naoto-san, I have to apologize, and I was like, what? some of the ATS steel knives delaminated.
Oh,
Yeah, that's okay.
it's not disappointing. It's just or it's not the end of the world. It's just a little disappointing.
Yeah, and he's the pretty much only one who could the forge weld in the commercial setting, like who can actually produce out of steel that forge welds the stainless steel like ATS 34.
Yeah, it's wild that he does that.
Yeah, right.
It's there's some crazy blacksmiths popping up these days. Like it's just the level of skill, and people like him or like Masashi-san are just bananas. Like I'm so blown away by what they're able to do.
Okay, so here I'm gonna actually switch the camera back.
Okay, yeah, let's see what you're working on.
So this side is actually pretty good.
Oh yeah! Wow.
A little bit more straighter.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use this piece of basically,
220.
Yeah, 220. Just blend this whatchamacallit, the flat part in a little bit.
Okay, cool. Just to bring down those ridges a little bit.
No, it's just to make it even. The look.
Okay. Yeah.
It's more look than anything else, because one part that didn't touch on the wheel was right at the
that's always tough.
Handle part. So I'm gonna actually make it so that it doesn't look like it's been done by machines.
Yeah, make it look like new kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Release the Kraken says Mizaki is currently my favorite Japanese blacksmith because of the long flat spot that is 2/3 of the edge and his 240 Yuto, the excellent distal taper and convex bevel, plus his heat treat is super good. Also says it's nice that he'll be part of the small makers event. His knives deserve to reach more users. I agree. Makes awesome stuff.
Mazaki-san is great. Just so you know, Masaki and Miyazaki that I'm talking about is two different people.
Different people.
Yeah.
Both make amazing knives. They're very different knives, though.
Yeah, Masaki-san makes a beautiful knife as well.
Yeah.
But the Miyazaki-san that I'm going to have the interview with, he is the younger than the Masaki-san.
Yeah.
He's like 34 or 5. I think the Masaki-san is like in 40s, I think.
Yeah.
I love his knives. Don't get me wrong. I have quite a few in order, but haven't seen them in a while. A little while.
Yeah, I mean, some of these blacksmiths we just place orders, and it's a nice surprise when the knives show up.
Yeah, I know.
I know Kevin always has described his ordering process like writing his order on a note and then rolling it up and putting it in a bottle and then throwing it into the ocean and hoping it makes it to Japan.
Hopefully someone picks it up, right?
Hopefully somebody finds it and brings it to the blacksmith.
Yeah.
Well, now all I can think about is smoking a chicken this weekend, so I think I'm going to have to do that. Also, my light just turned on and off, like, even though it's off, so I think I've got a ghost. I know I've got a ghost, but this is just extra evidence. Well, keep the questions coming, folks. We've got some great questions today, as always. Just trying to find the next one, though. Lots of love for R2 Steel here. Philip, who was asking about, same person that was asking about the Shirogami and Aogami, says Michio Ishikawa said Shirogami was more famous than Aogami. Aogami was used for tools and used to be cheaper. Cool. Do you know who Michio Ishikawa is?
Ishikawa-san. That doesn't ring a bell, actually.
Yeah, Philip, if you're still watching, let us know. And Blank said, I think Masahiro used to use a lot of Kigami, yellow carbon.
Yeah.
And that the color of the yellow, the blue, the white, that's just all to do with the paper they wrap it in, correct?
No, it's like a sticky note.
Right.
They don't wrap them. They just put the sticky note on them.
Right.
It says it's with the blue paper or the yellow paper. It's just like when you put When you put the sticky note, it's
Yeah.
Kiragami. When they put the white, that's the Shirogami.
Well, I hope they don't make. I hope those are really sticky notes. They don't mix them up.
Yeah.
Blank is a big advocate for the Shapton Pro 120. It's really fast stone. Have you ever used that one?
Not 120. I've used the Shapton Kuromaku. Oh no, I have 220, 1000, and 5000 from that series. I don't know who started calling Pro. They don't even call Pro. I have no idea why it's called, like, it's known as Pro series. It's called Kuromaku. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just like, I know a lot of people call it Pro.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even Pro.
You know it is a different one.
It's not called Pro. So that's okay. It's called Kuromaku.
Interesting. Well, Grant is sad that we're not going to be doing 3 videos a week, and I'm sorry we can't do as many these days. It's just busy. We got to get back to running our shops, but we are going to work on making our videos better. I can't see Japanese Knife 101 getting any better because it's just Chris and Kevin bantering about stuff. People seem to enjoy it, but I'm gonna be in the warehouse more often with higher quality camera. So when we do Naoto's sharpening lessons, we can just really like dial it in and make it look really nice. So it will be much prettier. That looks awesome.
So this Hira, or the this part, I'm gonna work a little bit more, but the so this part here.
Yeah.
So what happens is that, let me actually see. I'm gonna work here a little bit more with the stone, but as far as the line goes, it's pretty nice. Start to become a little bit more straighter, and this surface here, the face, trying to make it more like a traditional Kido finish, which they call a Kido finish, which is the stone. No, sorry, the wood stone finish.
Mm.
So
right,
it's just, it's like if you look at the car, like this one,
like that really clean, classic looking Japanese knife finish, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get that with this one here, and the bevel I try to make it as clean as I can. So in order to get the cleaner bevel, I have to actually work a little bit more, but in order to get a cleaner bevel, what I have to do is to use a much harder stone to get the shinogi or the bevel line cleaner. The more like,
to really like crisp it up.
Crisp it up, yeah. Crisp.
Yeah. Crisp. Gotta have a crisp shinogi.
It's harder with the double beveled because it's already.
Yeah. Well, to get it the same on both sides, right?
Yeah.
So I have a sneaking suspicion because I used to not like that really clean, polished Japanese knife look, and it's grown on me in recent years.
Mm-hmm.
But would you say that really clean, almost like basic look is a sign of skill, and like it kind of shows the skill of the knife maker and sharpener to be able to get it that smooth and clean?
If you know what you're looking at, yes.
Right.
You have to be careful because lots of knife makers and sharpeners are good at hiding it too.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
They call it working smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Hiding that not mistakes, but little flaws,
imperfections, things that happen,
like low spots or something like that. They're pretty good at hiding it.
Yeah.
Like I said, this particular knife here, the true bevel is at this drawn line, right?
Yep.
Or there's a fake bevel on the top.
Huh.
So the true bevel is where it's actually being ground, and they use sandblast to make a straighter bevel. So if you know what you're looking at, yes, the Sakai also uses this. Even if it looks really clean, often Sakai uses this a metal piece that goes on top of this this bevel, and they use the stones to polish it. So it's yeah, yeah. It is yes and no. Yes and no. I know I like to have a like clear yes no answer, but yeah. Can't hear you, Nathan. You mute yourself.
God damn it! I don't know how I managed to do that. I just mashed some buttons by accident. But yeah. I mean, that's often the case, though. Is like the answers aren't black and white as much as we'd like them to be.
I know, right? It's hard.
Well, speaking of hard, TJ Ronan said, "Good evening. Can you please?" Wondering about a Yanagiba. What's the best way to remove a burr? Said I'm using newspaper. Is there a better way?
Newspaper is great. Just do that on both sides. It should remove the burr. Depends on type of steel as well. Some that the steels are much harder to remove burr. Often, what I use often is the piece of jeans to remove. So
yeah, denim works. Denim works so well for stropping.
Yeah. Leather is great, but leather is a little bit more like last minute finish. But yeah,
why is that compared? Is it just because the like polishing?
To remove the bigger burrs, I don't. I think it just probably needs a little bit more step. Take the bigger burr with the denim, then go up on the leather to polish it up.
Yep,
that's what I feel. It's happening. But here, show you here. Again, this part has got a little scratch left on the blade, but generally speaking, it's starting to become more like a how the knife should be, I think.
Just in terms of the geometry it should have, or the kind of polish,
geometry and the look of the this shinogi.
Okay.
Yeah, how the shinogi looks. Yeah. See. I have a before picture, so if you can actually see, try to remember what it looked like. I have before.
It didn't look great. I was at the warehouse on Wednesday and saw that knife, and it looked not so hot. So I was mentioning earlier about videos we could do, and Blank says if you have the stones, Japanese natural stones, and Damon also says Japanese natural stones. I know Blank I think it was, got Damon into natural stones, and he's now joined the cult of Japanese natural stones. Do we have someone we could do a video with next month?
Like ones that we have here, yes. As far as I'll double check with the some people that we get the natural stones from, because we do have some natural stones like a I thought we do still have a Haka Yama from Takeda-san. We have a Hidariyama from Takeda-san.
Yeah, we could focus on specific natural stones. I mean, it's such a broad category that I think we did one kind of covering natural stones in general, but that's like it's impossible to do in 2 hours. So we could kind of hone in on just a couple.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of research.
Yeah, we'll make it happen this summer for sure. I know I've been saying that for a while, but yeah, we'll do a Japanese natural stone episode real soon.
Summer project, yeah.
Yeah. Ray Evans said we'll miss the banter on Japanese Knife 101. Well, off topic, it got pretty hilarious. But stores, fantastic. The stores are getting busier. We won't. The show's not going anywhere, but it is just reducing frequency. So you'll still be able to catch it next week on July 6th, I believe, at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And it'll be every 4 weeks, basically. So it won't be as often, but it'll still be around. And then you'll get to catch Kevin and Chris on Sharp Knives Rock as well, which is the second Monday of every month. And we're working on some things to improve that show as well. So that show's going to get even better. We've been learning a lot in the first 3. So number 4,
yeah,
I don't know if it'll be good, but it'll be the best one yet.
I'm really grateful that the viewers like yours, you are the motivation, and that's what keep us going. So thanks for watching. Because it was like emergency plan for us, right? Because when the COVID hit, when we had to close down our stores, and what we did really good was the teaching the sharpening or the like cooking classes, and we had to pull all that out. So we decided, hey, probably media like this is really good place to do, and I think we found a place. I think it's good. We're gonna keep doing. It's going to again reduce the frequency, but I love what I do right now, and some of the stuff that I don't get to talk about, like too nerdy at the regular sharpening class. The folks that's here where I am, this broader audience groups that's makes me keep going and do a lot more than what I'm allowed, I guess, to at the store level.
Well, the reason this show got so focused as it has been into like really intense nerdy stuff is because enough people tuned in and asked for it and wanted us to get real nerdy about stuff, and we wouldn't have naturally gone in that direction if people didn't ask for it. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
And these aren't discussions we get to have. I don't get to talk to Naoto about sharpening all that often because we're both busy doing our own jobs most of the time. But I think we'll also, doing shows a little less often might allow us the opportunity for the odd impromptu stream. So if we have something really exciting we want to talk about, we can sneak those in there. And maybe we can do some more stuff through the Discord. We can. I don't know that you can stream video there, but maybe we can just have more discussions on the Discord and have some challenges where we all try to do one thing one week, and we can have these same kind of discussions. We all, reset a knife bevel and then we compare our results. I think that kind of thing would be fun. And if anybody is interested in spearheading some of those efforts, I'd love to do that. Well, thanks for the love and feedback, everybody. And thanks everyone that's been tuning in over the past year. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been such fun. I didn't even know how much I love what I do right now. Yeah. It's I haven't realized how much like this Friday has become like a favorite part of my week. Yeah. So I'm gonna actually draw it may create optical illusion here.
And sorry, what stone are you working on right now?
This one here is Kensho. This is the actual Shinogi line that's on right now.
Yeah.
Pretty straight for with the equipments that we have.
Yeah.
And once it's this gone, it looks a little bit more straighter because I was freehanding it, right? But that's what you that's my aim, like especially for this knife here, right? Because it's got such the weird bevel to start with. Just wanted to make it as flat on this part as well as the hira or the face here. Wanted to make this Shinogi as crisp as I could, because it was very it's not as crisp. It had quite a bit of a grinding mark on it and stuff. So
it's gonna be it's gonna be awesome when you're done with it. I can't wait to see. Are you do you have any progress pictures you're gonna post on your Instagram?
Oh, I haven't taken pictures.
Oh, that's okay. We'll forgive you. Well, hey, regardless, if you like this kind of content, follow Naoto on Instagram. He posts really cool stuff, knife repairs, and crazy ones sometimes.
Well, good point, Nathan. Ah,
It's
because
okay.
I'm doing this and I feel kind of this is no, it's wrong stone.
I'm the social media guy, so it's just my job to ask this question. Like every time somebody does something cool, I'm like, "Awesome! Did you take a picture of it?" I'm the obnoxious asshole that's always taking photos of stuff for Instagram.
You know what? I I don't even have phone here, so I'm just gonna.
It's okay. It's okay. Great question from Philip here. Philip says, "Does cold forging powder steel make a difference as to how it does with traditional steel?" And
What
cold
the-
forging, for those of you who don't know, that's like after the steel's been hardened, right? They do some final hammering.
Yeah. So the cold forging, according to Masashi-san,
Mm-hmm.
he says I mean, powder steel won't really react to the any forging.
Right. It
What,
won't change the composition.
no, what the cold forging does for the say kitchen knives, even R2 or anything,
Yep.
is that the it gives the outside layer steel a bit more tension, so that it doesn't bend as easy.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah, instead of just like working on the core steel, instead of has the effect on the core steel, it will probably have an effect on the outer layer, the soft steel, cladding steel.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. It's I know you said, or maybe Kevin. It was Kevin that said, with the Moritaka Ishime, like the line we get that has the hammering done after the steel's forged, that does have a real effect on the performance of the knife, right?
Yeah, it gives you that tension. I guess the Masashi-san calls it tension. Even very low carbon steel, when it's forged and hammered properly and gives the enough like proper heat treatment and enough hammering, that gives you enough. That gives the steel enough tension so that the say in the Sanjo area, the what made that area popular or famous for the knife making or the blacksmithing is this a so-called wakugi or traditional Japanese nail forging.
Right.
And those Japanese nails were very low carbon steel. They heat it up and hammer into the tapers and make the shapes. But imagine if that because it's very soft steel, if they try to hammer them in, it bends, right?
Yeah.
But those properly forged nails, they don't bend,
Oh, no kidding.
right? So that definitely gives you the outer tension
Yeah.
to the steel.
I need to get me some of those because I have real bad aim with a hammer, and I would love nails that don't bend. The light just turned off and on again. There's definitely a ghost in here. I'm glad I'm moving out in a month. Oh, maybe I'm just stupid. Hey, Grant said after smoking chicken, smoke a turkey. I was gonna do turkey breast because I'm gonna try to make like I've been making like deli meats at home, like smoked chicken and stuff for sandwiches. I'm gonna try to even make turkey bacon. So, Grant, if you have turkey smoking advice, send me an Instagram message or a message me on the Discord because I would love to hear your advice. All right. Well, if anybody, we got a few more minutes left here for the day. How's that going, Naoto?
So it look better. It looks almost like I swapped it or something. Actually, it looks pretty good.
It does. This is one you prepared earlier, right?
Yeah, right. I just
Like on Food TV, like you baked this cake like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I prepared for you. Oh wait, it's in the oven.
Yeah, no, that looks awesome. Can we see that again?
Yeah, it turned out to be pretty good. This is the down with the sorry, the glare. 1,000 stone right now.
Yep.
So I'm going to make it as many of you like nice kasumi to finish.
It just looks so nice, right?
But yeah, the so this class I wanted to people to know, like, not only just working on the bevel, but working on this part is also important to get this flat, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the lesson that you want to take, I guess, from this today's class. Well, I guess it's a nerdy power hour.
Yeah, I think it's a class. It's like a master class.
So the like,
you just drop nuggets of information.
So like say I'm just gonna bring a. So I'm gonna actually give you a little bit of a preview on some of the knives that we just received, right?
Oh yeah, we got all right. So I guess this is an exclusive preview. Naoto didn't even tell me this was happening. Yeah, Grant, email me your advice. I would love that. I'm gonna have to spatchcock the turkey for sure because I have a Traeger Ranger. It is a fairly small unit as far as smokers go, so I'm gonna need to really cram it in there. I can do like half of a small brisket, and then it kind of maxes out. So, speaking of which, I'm making some Montreal smoked meat this weekend. I'm very excited for that.
So when they, I'm not on the screen. When kurochi is made,
Yeah,
like this.
Ooh.
Yama-san does a very good job keeping that the bevel nice and not a bevel, the shinogi nice and straight and flat.
Yep.
Right? He does such a good job, but it's not as clean, right? Like not super straight. Right? It's got a little right. So what the Sakai people do is they do work from the flat side. So what happens?
Like the flat face of the knife?
Yeah, the face of the knife. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's how those people. I'm just going to. This is another great example of a knife that's. So this one. This is the Kiritsuke that I posted on the.
Oh yeah.
Nice and straight, right?
Yeah. Wow.
It has a few techniques.
Yeah.
If you look close at right here, it is nice and straight. So it's done by working on the bevel and working on this flat face, right? To get the nice straight edge. Also, they use this metal kind of covers this contour right here. This curvature right here. It covers on here and use this it's called hongasumi trick. So they use the little powder and they just brush on them. That's like it's like sandblast.
Yeah.
But you do it by hand.
Similar to those powders you've got for like polishing up certain Damascus blades.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But they have this metal piece that completely hides it. So there are
like they mask it off basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Smart.
But it's usually matches pretty good with the bevel where bevel starts. Yeah. But that's the last little bit of piece to get the
clever.
Yeah.
And so these will all be for the Small Makers Month, starting in July, right?
The huddle, the black finish one was yes.
Yep.
I'll see if this Nakagawa-san's knife, we should have them out or not. So for those of you who wants it, keep an eye out.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Yeah. Because Nakagawa-san's excellent blacksmith. He makes blades for a lot of famous knife makers, companies like Konosuke, like Takada no Hamono, the Tadokoro-san's knives are all forged by him too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so
he gets around.
Yeah, we get a few knives from him.
Cool. Well, Jonathan Gui says, hello, huge Japanese natural stone fan here. Generally, I think they usually are really only able to do their magic after a nice polishing base has been established.
Mhm.
What do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yeah, that's definitely yes. The you will have to have the nice base established on the bevel. Otherwise, it's really hard to work on that. The bevel. I mean, generally speaking, natural stones are pretty fine. So you just have to make sure that there is no previous scratches, deeper scratches left on the bevel, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense because it's not going to be able to remove those, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Blank Blank had a question that it looked like I missed here, a comment. I would love to know. Oh, I see. Yeah. So you were talking about the Pro versus chroma key, and Blank Blank thinks that it's the same thing, just potentially marketed at a different price point to Westerners potentially.
Because
And
we could get Kuromaku, but
what's that?
we could get Kuromaku, that series. We
Right.
decided to just limit our selection.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a ceramic series that's actually lower price point. That's not available in the North American market.
Oh. Do you know if it's the same thing as the Pro or
The Kuromaku, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because Blank Blank's saying they actually buy the Hano Chromaku because it's cheaper than the Pro, apparently.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, Kuromaku series is, yeah. I have, because I have Kuromaku series, and I looked at, some says Pro. I'm like, why do they sell us Pro?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Fighting Music says this he enjoys all the segments, but this one is his favorite, and Blank Blank says me too.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you, folks. It's been a lot of fun getting to do this with everyone. It is super weird to think that we'll be back in our store. Well, our stores have been open for a year, but they're going to be normal busy. We'll be able to have tons of humans in there. Some of them aren't going to be wearing masks. It'll be an optional thing. It's going to be super strange, and I think it's going to take us and our staff a little while to adjust.
I'll probably stay away from going to the store for a little while until it kind of settles, because people are excited. I'm excited, right?
Yeah, me too.
To be able to do the things that we haven't been able to, right? But
yeah,
I'm not the kind of person who just likes to jump out and start do stuff.
Yeah.
Because I will get second shot, and in order to be fully vaccinated, full immunity to kick in, it needs another 2 weeks.
Yeah. I got my second shot on the 5th or something, or 6th. And then I've got 2 weeks after that. It won't be basically till the end of July.
And I feel a little bit more comfortable. It's not that I'm scared or afraid of getting COVID, but it's just
I just don't want to give it to anyone else.
I don't want to. I don't want to just pass it on. It's just I still come to work every day, and there are 2, 3, 4 coworkers always at the stores.
Well, they got kids and all that kind of stuff.
They're their family, and so it's if I'm just by myself, maybe not, but and we get to go to sometimes stores. You get to see the coworkers at the stores. And you don't want to pass that. Yeah. So
well, and I last weekend I went to the bar, and I really wanted to play a game of pool, so I went to the pool hall across the street from my house, and it was super fun. But it was really nice to be able to go back there. But then at about 10 p.m., there were a whole bunch of 18-year-olds rolling in with no masks on and just kind of acting like you do when you're 18, like you're invincible. And I was like, okay, I'm cool. I'm gonna go now.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Blank Blank got it in December. Well, I'm glad you're okay. Asymptomatic, that is. Real lucky. Okay, we got a few more questions, then I think we're gonna be done for the week. It's been a lovely show, folks. Thanks for tuning in as always. Grant has a good one. Grant Hendrick has a good one. Question: is Cold Forge better than adding more carbon in terms of chipping?
Cold Forge better than usually both are done.
Okay.
Usually both are done. Hot Forge, or especially Japanese knife making world, they usually do both. Cold forge is done after it's called narashiuchi. After it's been forged and quenched, maybe before quenched. They usually do a cold forge to even the surface out. After it's been forged, especially carbon steel, there's going to be a lot of carbonized steel flaking off.
Yeah.
Carbonized steel? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And the surface becomes very rough. And that's, if you leave that, it's nashiji. But a lot of people like to pound it from there to get the nice even. That's kurochi, right? Okay. So they usually do it both. Out in the carbon perspective, there are a few. When you're quenching it, that's when you could add the carbon into steel when you're doing it with the charcoals or something like that. Say Nakagawa-san, not this one here, or maybe this one is forged by Nakagawa-san does a with the pine charcoal that adds the tiny bit of carbon, but you have to think that there is always a carbon that's trying to get out, escape from the steel as well. So it just kind of offsets a little bit.
All right. Okay. Well, last one for the weekend. Release the Kraken says, does Naoto have opinions about Honyaki versus Sanmai? Pros and cons.
Honyaki is great. It's the representation of the skill of the blacksmith. I think it can be done. It's really hard technique to do. As a user, I'm a big fan. I am not big fan of Honyaki. One, because it's hard to sharpen.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the. Some people try to make a point that the Honyaki is harder. Probably not. They use the same steel in the core, the hardness of the edge is probably the same, right? The long time benefit of Honyaki, especially the single bevel knives, is that it won't bend, it won't deform over time as the clad Kasumi knives, especially single bevel knives, are two different type of hardness of steel, right? Put together on the side by side, so one can actually pulls to the other over time. But not so much with the Honyaki. So that's really the big benefit. Again, as a user, I am not big fan of Honyaki as a user and the sharpener because it's it doesn't really do what I like to do, I guess, and with the what I'm looking.
I mean, some of my knives are made that way for a reason.
Yeah, it's great, but I would like to own one, but it's not like everyday driver. I'm big, like I worship Masashi-san, right?
Yeah.
And he made the Honyaki blade, but I'm sure he's capable, but as a tool, that has to be used in the kitchen. Doesn't have to be every day, but so as a tool, I think the Kasumi knives or the Sanmai knives or the Awase knives or the clad knives have better place, I guess.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I like that. I basically feel the same way. The Honyaki knives is super, super cool. I would love to have one day, but they're not the daily driver for most people.
No.
So before we go, Naoto, can you throw us the fruits of your labor?
Review that the finished product. I think this camera is good enough though. If I actually do it here.
Yeah, I think it is better. Let's see. Ooh.
Yeah, it's nice and clean. The bevel is clean.
Yeah. The face of it looks great. It looks super smooth.
Pretty good. Oh,
Nice.
I'm pretty proud of this. The back is still needs quite a bit of work, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, look. And I always like to finish with a little bit of Kasumi, but
Yeah. Yeah, it looks awesome.
yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, man.
I don't know if Sean is watching today.
I didn't see him in the comments, but he might tune in afterwards. So, hi, Sean.
I'm gonna actually send this face picture to him.
Yeah.
On Instagram, saying, "Hey,
Right.
work in progress. You need to be a little bit more patient, but here's your knife, the one side."
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone.
Well. Yeah,
What's
it's great practice for me as well.
Yeah.
And such a good opportunity.
Yeah, it's a technique you probably don't get to bust out too often.
No.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. It was great to see everybody, and I'm sure I'll see you over the weekend on the Discord. I'll post some pictures of whatever I end up cooking this weekend.
Yeah, if you want to actually check out the some before picture, check out the first section, because I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah,
I'm really, really impressed, especially considering where it was at. Like when I picked it up and looked at it on Wednesday, it looks so much better. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Alrighty. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see you soon, and we'll see you. I mean, again, we'll see you on the Discord. So hope everybody has an awesome weekend. Stay safe, stay hydrated.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Take care.